The newest 911 GT3 will blow your mind. I'll include a link to the Porsche Salt Lakes website in the description down below. They're providing us with this GT3. If you have any questions, need any help, just ask for Matt Hendry. Also include a link to my car buying guide. Let's get right into it. Before we get into the features, this is the 992.2 in terms of the 911 generations. There's not really a hood to pop with the 911. They have this little access panel to do stuff like the oil, but that's about it. But regardless, let's talk about this engine. 4-liter, flat 6-cylinder, naturally aspirated. Goes through either a 7-speed dual clutch or a 6-speed manual. This one happens to have the dual clutch. Now it produces 502 horsepower and then 331 pound-feet of torque. The final drive ratio has been shortened by about 8% to improve acceleration. Before we even get to the next part, I'm trying to hit 500,000 subscribers before the end of the year. I'd really appreciate it if you'd help me out with that. Although this is a GT3, it's still a 911 with a front storage space, which massively adds to the practicality of this car. Lightweight is the theme of the GT3. You can see the hood is made out of carbon fiber. Really cool to see. And when you just feel this thing, it literally feels like it weighs basically nothing. Which means these hood struts should theoretically last for basically ever because they barely have to hold any weight. Now the hood's not fully closed, but you guys probably, let me unlatch that again, probably noticed there with little holes that go into that. They're adding a lot of aerodynamic efficiency to this that was previously on the GT3 RS. And you'll notice that with the GT3, basically the GT3 RS debuts certain items and then the GT3 gets those items a little bit later down the road. This has to be one of the coolest stripes on a car because that's what the hood is actually made out of, is carbon fiber. The areas around it are painted, not the center. Now this has Porsche's newest headlight design. It's the HD Matrix, and it's supposed to be like the brightest, most crystal clear LEDs that you'll ever experience, to put it into more practical terms, I suppose. To put it into less practical terms, it just makes the 911 look a whole lot more angry. I've got more carbon fiber here at the bottom, and then you can see GT3 there on the front splitter. Altogether, the front end definitely looks quite a bit more aggressive than the previous version of the GT3. Now the tire and wheel setup up front is 255 by 35 by 20. In the rear it is 315 by 30 by 21, so it is a staggered setup. Now this GT3 has the Weissach package, which, yeah, is available on a GT3. You've got the magnesium wheels, which are extremely lightweight. We've got the upgraded brakes. I love the yellow contrast on the caliper, but center lock wheels. This thing is meant for track use. And you'll note, even the brake rotor and caliper on the back are pretty large. You have to remember, this is a lightweight car, but it has tons of stopping power. Now, a bunch of elements like the mirror caps and the roof and even the wing have carbon fiber and also carbon fiber reinforced plastics. And this also has the lighter weight glass as well. So all of these elements together save quite a bit of weight. We'll check the door jamb sticker. Weight savings aside, GT3 logo on the side, then you also have this fancy side skirt. And the overall profile of this car with the Weissach wing is pretty crazy looking for a GT3. And let's take a closer look at that wing. Of course, you've got the Weissach logo there on the side. And sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, by the way. But you can tell that this thing is meant for racing. Look at the style. And the new light bar design in the back really ties things in quite well. And you guys can probably hear the exhaust. It's pretty rowdy. I'll give you guys a few revs a little bit later in the video. So to sum things up with the exterior, they've added more downforce, especially with this Weissach package. They've also made the car more lightweight, and they've made the acceleration that much quicker. Let's now check out the interior. Now this is still a 911 at the end of the day, so really nice fit and finish, beautiful trim. Look at the stitching, the carbon fiber, and I love the handle here also in carbon. Now in the back we got that little storage shelf. You actually can get this with rear seats now. This one doesn't have them, but it is an option in the GT3 now. And when it comes to the front seats, really nice trim. These ones are the 18-way power adjustable, if I remember right. I mean, you guys can see there's a billion different ways to adjust the seats. And look at that carbon fiber plaque, GT3, that's cool. So let's take a look at door jamb stickers. $573 for the payload. If you want the vehicle weight, you take the payload and subtract it from the gross vehicle weight rating, which is $39.29, meaning this thing weighs about 3,500 pounds, which for a modern car, it's very lightweight. Speaking of lightweight, the floor mats, carbon fiber. They're going all in on this thing. I like the tactile feel at the startup. You just kind of twist that. Really nice trim all around the steering wheel. You've got stitching there in the center portion. Paddle shifters on the back. We have our drive mode select here on the right hand side, and then you have some practical controls on the steering wheel. Not too much though, because again, this is supposed to be more about driving. But even though this is a hardcore track car, you still have cruise control. This GT3 has a full digital gauge cluster, so that means it is going to be more customizable in terms of the information that's displayed. For example, you can change there on the side dial pretty easy with the control on the steering wheel. And then it will also display the drive modes as you are actively going through them. And I like how they keep it simple. You've got normal, sport, and track. You've got nice Alcantara all across the dash, beautiful stitching. You can see the sport chrono clock there. Little Weissach badge, and then we've got more carbon fiber. Now with this center infotainment system, this is where you can change the drive modes, by the way. But this is a really easy system to use. It's very quick to respond. Everything is nicely labeled. It's intuitive. You also have kind of like a redundancy of some features, like the climate controls you can see are here in the screen, but then there's also more physical buttons down below. So let's actually go over all the physical buttons. We obviously have our hazard lights, your ESC off, and then your ESC and traction control off. Like, yeah, you can turn a lot of stuff off with this. It's nice that they have it all labeled nicely. And then, you know, for the lift of the car, because it's low to the ground, so it's nice to have a front end lift. In front of the Mega shifter here, which even the shifter for the automatic looks really cool. You've got climate controls, little radio controls there on either side too. And just the tactile feel with this, by the way, that's one of the reasons why you get a Porsche. Man, even the little kind of knee guard here, knee rest, whatever you want to call it, has nice stitching in Alcantara. This does have heated seats still, even though it's got kind of like race car type seats. And then you have a little cup holder there, parking brake as well. Look at that on the Alcantara, that's beautiful. But yeah, you've got a phone charging pad, some USB ports. I mean, you could literally daily drive this thing with the features it has. And then the glove box, I mean, again, just the actuation on the glove box itself, very crisp. Then finally, a note from the dash all the way up to the pillars and the roof, it's all Alcantara. When it comes to pricing, we're going to talk about MSRP pricing. Something like this with the Weissach package is going to be roughly in the mid 200s, but that's obviously not market value. We all know that 911s are sold out for the next, especially GT3s, they're sold out for like the next 20 plus years. And so these on the pre-owned market go for significantly over their original MSRP, and that'll continue into the far future unless Porsche decides to build a million of them, which they never will. Because of the newness of this car, the mileage, right, it basically has no miles on it, we cannot do a driving portion for this video. I did, however, review a pre-owned GT3 a couple years ago. It's obviously not the newest version, but I'll include that driving clip as long as YouTube lets me download my own video. YouTube let me download my own video. I'll include that at the end of this video just for entertainment purposes, but there have been several videos posted on YouTube of people driving these, so I recommend just go and watch those if you're interested in hearing what the impressions are like with this newest GT3. And yes, if Porsche Salt Lake gets one in that has enough miles where it makes sense to actually be able to do a little driving review, we will have one for you guys in the future. Just no promises that's going to happen anytime soon. Well, let's talk about visibility before you set off. Here's visibility over the hood, both of the mirrors, and then throughout the rest of the rear end. We're gonna adjust this one right here a little bit. Let's try it again. Yeah, because it's kind of pointed low. Sorry, I had to adjust my GoPro because it's falling off of my head, but let us set off on our maiden voyage here in the GT3. I'm so glad this has a front end lift because, I mean, again, this is a factory race car. Now, this has been, you know, like most, you know, car journalists or just people in general, this has been a dream car of mine for a long time. Obviously with the manual transmission, but still, any GT3 is just absolutely epic. And that front end lift comes in clutch. Let me tell you, it really does help out with clearing driveways and everything. But yeah, so this will be like my way of experiencing like if this lives up to the hype, right? Now I just have it in the normal function here. I want to make sure this is pulled up so we can change the drive modes later on. Also, we're going to do sport exhaust all the way. Why would we not have the sport exhaust on the whole time? But yeah, I mean, first off, like just seeing this in person, it looks so cool. It, like, the pictures, the videos, none of it does this justice. Also, this has the extinguisher from the factory. That's so cool. It's got a fire extinguisher in it. That is so cool. But yeah, pictures and videos don't do this thing justice. And speaking of not doing this thing justice, videos do not capture how much of a race car this thing is. I mean, right off the bat, like, this, I mean, there is no, oh my gosh. Like, this is not trying to hide what it is whatsoever. I have never, oh my gosh, it's so stiff. I have never experienced a car that, except for, I drove the ACR Viper I think it was last year. That is the only other car that I feel like that kind of emulates what this has in terms of, you know, feeling like a race car. Oh my gosh. It's so like, oh, it's perfect. It is so perfect. So that's the normal mode. Let's pop it into sport. So now it's going to be even firmer, and I'm also going to pop it into manual mode here. Yeah, oh my gosh. I like, this is one of those cars, and I like how they've, by the way, this is random, they've got like this Alcantara padding here where your knee would go. So if you're a taller individual or have longer legs like me, then that actually helps out quite a bit. But yeah, just driving this at low speeds, oh my gosh, it's so fun. And you can see the wing in the back there. Look at that, that's so cool. And the transmission, I mean, so smooth. I've recently reviewed some BMW M cars, and I know that completely different worlds, right? But BMW does some like tuning with that with the 8-speed to make that transmission super sporty. Porsche's obviously done the same thing with this, but like Porsche's tuning with this transmission, it's super quick to shift, but it's also still super smooth. So like you don't have this like jerkiness that I've seen in other high performance automatics. Oh, it's not. So here's the thing, is the damping's actually really good with this. It's just so stiff. But again, like, that's the whole point of this car. And I love how, like, again, you press the paddle and it's just boom. The transmission just, everyone says it's like telepathic, and it's true. But you know what's really surprising to me is how comfortable these seats are. They're very upright, so you do have to get used to that. But I mean, again, for carbon fiber buckets, like, I feel like I could drive 1,000 miles in these seats and be fine. They, like I said during walk around though, it does take a bit to get in and out of the seats, that is for sure. And normally I do some like cuts in the driving portion, so I don't show you guys everything, but like, I think since this is a GT3 review, we gotta have as much footage as we can manage in today's video. Okay, so we're in first gear here. Oh, buddy. Oh, man. That is, I mean, that is one of the most beautiful sounds ever. And so if you guys follow the channel, you know, I own a Shelby GT350, which manual transmission, revs to over 8,000 RPMs, right? One of the most special cars ever. And this is just on, this is on a whole nother level. I mean, it's just the sound. Oh, you could never, that sound would never get old. Never, ever, ever. Such a special engine. Oh man. We gotta get one more for the, just a little, oh man, so fun. So, to sum things up here with the GT3, my first experience in a GT3, obviously PDK, you know, maybe one day we'll be able to do a manual. That front end lift is so fast with the Porsches. It looks amazing. The interior is great. You know, how about this? It exceeded my expectation. I came in thinking that this was going to be a really good track-focused car, and I'm leaving realizing that this is quite possibly the best performance car ever made, and the fact that you can also get this in a manual. I just, like, It's beyond me. So if you happen to have the money for one of these, then there's just, I can't see any other car being worth buying over this. Like, and you know, maybe I need to go and drive some more of these high performance cars, but just the sound and the driving dynamics, like as a car enthusiast, this just, it checks all of the boxes. And this is the automatic. That's so crazy to me. Let me know what you guys think.